Will there be any more Indiana Jones?
I think not.
This time on What Were People Watching, 1990. The year child extras went on strike, going violent and causing chaos on set by pointing at their cocks during filming.
But what does that mean?
It means your future hasn't been written yet. No one's has.
And the year Nick Cage karate kicked a ghost. May. Usually when I do this I look ahead at the slate of films and I can guess how strong a summer is going to be, and at first glance this summer doesn't have as much big hits as 1989 did, so if it's going to stand a chance it'll have to have a bunch of underrated films to make up the score, and it starts off promising with Short Time. An unmemorable title for a clever comedy. Dabney Coleman plays a cop who is told he has a terminal blood disease, so he decides to keep that information to himself and try and get himself killed in the line of duty so his family can get a huge payout. However, none of the criminals shoot him. His nothing to lose attitude leads to him scaring off a lot of the crooks, and he ends up accidentally becoming a super cop.
4 tales of overwhelming terror.
I'm starting to see a pattern of May being the time when horror anthology movies get released. Tales from the Dark Side has 3 stories in it, the most memorable of which being a story written by Stephen King himself about an old man who hires a hitman to kill a cat.
The cat killed them. I warned them, but they wouldn't listen.
To be fair, that doesn't mean anything. My cat does that. Could be an accident. Alright, maybe it is evil. May 11th sees Daddy's Dying, Who's Gonna Get the Will? A comedy about a family together to see their sick father.
Boring.
And a show of force where Steven Spielberg's ex-wife, Amy Irving, plays a journalist covering political violence in Puerto Rico.
Boring.
You get lost in your plane, you're reported missing, you're presumed dead. I attend your memorial service and I cry the tears of a grieving widow. Until one day, I pull into a gas station, and you're alive with people chasing you, and you ask me to look at your butt?
Bird on the Wire should be right up my alley given the stars and the genre. However, it's just kind of an average chase movie, memorable only for this scene of Mel Gibson pretending to be a gay hairdresser.
I like the, oh, that, oh no, it's just dirty. I had to tire it out.
Been a bad boy.
I know, mea culpa, mea culpa.
That same day is Cadillac Man, critically panned at the time, however I found it to be a good laugh. Robin Williams plays a car salesman who is held hostage by a heartbroken Tim Robbins. The attention of this event brings an unfortunate spotlight on the main character, causing his life to unravel as he's held at gunpoint. Back to the Future Part 3 pulls into the station. The final part of this great movie series is a satisfying conclusion with Marty trying to save Doc Brown from the Wild West. You know, I get why Marty McFly's great-great-grandfather looks the same as him, but why does his great-great-grandmother look like his own mum?
You. Hey, lighten up, jerk.
Mighty strong words, Runt.
Finally for May there's Firebirds, which is a cliched attempt at doing Top Gun but with Apache helicopters. A stupid action film that is corny fun with actors way too good for this B-movie, elevating the material. Nick Cage plays a helicopter pilot, and if you look closely you'll notice subtle clues in his character that he thinks a little too highly of himself.
I am the greatest! I am the greatest! I am the greatest!
So it's up to Tommy Lee Jones to straighten this kid out. Cage also finds time to woo another pilot, played by Sean Young. He tries to win her over by going in for a quick kiss 5 minutes after meeting her.
What are you doing?
A kiss. It's a tradition for friends to seal a bargain with a kiss.
And in this scene, beating up a random guy she was dancing with in a club. In this action film, the plucky underdogs of the most powerful air force in the world, the Americans, are going up against the evil South American drug cartels who fly ominous black helicopters, and their star aviator conveniently looks like Fidel Castro dressed as a TIE fighter pilot.
Oops. You blew it.
I'm gonna kill him now!
Winners don't use drugs.
2 weeks.
The summer is the hardest time to release a film.
Do June tends to be when things kick up again, and thankfully we have Arnold Schwarzenegger teaming up with director Paul Verhoeven to make glorious sci-fi blockbuster Total Recall, or for younger viewers it's best described as Jason Bourne in space.
We can't let him run around, he knows too much.
Mild-mannered Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a schlubby, blue-collared everyman, but turns out he used to actually be a secret agent. Can you believe it? Well, yeah, because it's Arnold Schwarzenegger, which makes the double life reveal kind of meaningless. Fortunately, they make up for that by making an amazing futuristic tale that predicted Zoom calls and 12-hour YouTube atmosphere videos.
Sweetheart, be reasonable. After all, we're married.
Consider that a divorce.
It's much better than another 48 Hours, which is just a repeat of the first 48 Hours movie, only this time with a bigger budget and better lighting. Truth is, I never really liked these movies. Weird casual violence the two main characters inflict on each other. And it's a Walter Hill movie, which of course means lots of steel drum music in the soundtrack. June 15th sees Gremlins 2 The New Batch released, a fun sequel that sees the creatures take over a skyscraper. It's really just a series of meta scenes to show its great practical effects off, full of so many references it almost feels like you're watching an early version of the Scary Movie franchise, the joke just being the reference.
How was that civilized? No, clearly not. Fun, but in no sense civilized.
Gremlins seems to be remembered much more fondly than Dick Tracy that came out that same day. Warren Beatty stars and directs this film based on the old comic strip about a detective fighting crime. Tracy is taking on a villain called Big Boy, although at times the film doesn't always present Tracy as the most effective of heroes. Tracy has a sidekick kid who repeatedly saves him from death throughout the movie.
Tracy, I'll get you! Tracy, watch out!
You're alright, kid.
The film is very colourful, almost to the point of it being a bit garish, and due to its bombastic tone and comic book vibe, you can't help but feel like it's a little bit like a diet version of Batman, which came out the year before. Al Pacino steals the show as the over-the-top villain, and Madonna is irritatingly competent in her role, despite the fact I've always been told my whole life that she's a terrible actress. Disney hyped Dick Tracy up a lot with ads and tie-ins all over the place, but it didn't bring in the profits that they were hoping for.
What can you win in McDonald's Dick Tracy game?
Nothing, see? We got it all. All the cash, all the food.
Nonsense.
Jake and I are getting married.
Oh my God!
On June 22nd, there's a cute little comedy called Betsy's Wedding about a father who's trying to pay for his daughter's nuptials. It shares a lot of similarities to Father of the Bride, and I originally thought Father of the Bride, the 90s one, must have ripped off all its ideas from this, but actually, to be fair, there was a Father of the Bride back in 1950, so they're both kind of copying that film.
About a year ago, we gave this city Robocop.
Ready for duty, partner?
If you're not as into wedding shenanigans, then that same day there is Robocop 2. On the surface, this sounds like it should be a shoo-in for a great sequel. They brought in comic book writer Frank Miller to do the script, and they hired Empire Strikes Back director Irving Kershner. He successfully made Star Wars darker years earlier, but he may have gone a little too far with the darkness in this one, filling Robocop 2 with drug-addicted robots and gun-touting potty-mouth kids.
Shit, go fuck a refrigerator, peckerneck!
It has a very weird structure to it. Robocop seems to hit his low point about 40 minutes into the film when he's ripped apart by the bad guys. There are things set up earlier, like him stalking his wife, they're just forgotten about later in the film. And there's even a 20-minute period towards the end where Robocop just disappears from the story and we just spend time with other characters and the villains. I will say it's a little bit of a guilty pleasure for me. In this film, Robocop is fighting a drug lord turned cyborg called Kane.
That's gotta be Kane! That's gotta be Kane!
Kershner does sometimes get the tone of the first one right.
But that was before Sunblock 5000. Just apply a pint to your body and you're good for hours.
And there's some good moments in it, but then there are things that don't work, like an eccentric mayor who feels like he should be in a wacky Nickelodeon sitcom.
Bullshit, you senile old bastard! Bullshit!
and evil corporate suits that walk like altar boys heading to church. Days of Thunder reteams Tom Cruise and director Tony Scott from their Top Gun success in a formulaic sports drama about NASCAR driving. At times it feels so similar to Top Gun. It's as if they're trying to stick to that film superstitiously. Just like Top Gun, Cruise has a relationship with a blonde doctor, Cruise drives a motorcycle with a blonde lady on the back, Cruise feuds with a cocky blonde rival on the track. Days of Thunder was famous for its spiralling budget, and it's also the film where Tom Cruise met his next ex-wife, Nicole Kidman. Aww. Finally for June is Ghost Dad, starring sitcom sensation Bill Cosby, where he plays a put-upon dad who haunts his family after dying in a car accident. There's a couple of funny jokes, but the rules for the film don't really sit right. Apparently when you're a ghost, you can just continue living your life as long as you stay in the dark. You can even have sex with a neighbour.
Cause all we're gonna do is cuddle.
But I have people with.
You just need to relax.
Of course, I shudder to think what Bill Cosby would actually do if he had the power of invisibility and phasing through locked doors. He'd probably...
I am. You're a duck.
A big sissy.
Put the bitch on.
Put the bitch on the phone?
Christmas Eve.
Is there a cop on duty around here?
Airport police.
Go get him.
Jingle bells swing and jingle bells ring.
Die Hard 2 this time sees John McClane find himself fighting off terrorists, not in a skyscraper but in an airport, all taken over by new Tai Chi enjoyer William Sadler. The terrorists hack into the mainframe and purposely mislead the planes, causing them to crash on the runway.
What?
The runway.
Son of a bitch.
What the hell?
Shutting down.
Just kidding.
The film feels less focused than the first one, with the action taking place over a bigger location.
You're the wrong guy in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Story of my life.
It's really an imitation of the first one, but still with a solid plot, good twists and decent action. And this was at least years before the Die Hard sequels started to become a cynical cash-in.
It's Christmas Eve in LA, and New York cop John McClane is shopping with his wife.
California.
Everyone on that floor must now.
But he's very cunning. Find him!
Paper or plastic, you son of...
Die Hard 12. Die hungry.
The best way to describe him is to say he's the typical boy next door. Say hello to Andrew Dice Clay. Okay, here we go now. Hey, Andrew, hey.
Around this time there was this stand-up comedian called Andrew Dice Clay. I never really understood his humour, but there's no doubt he had a huge fan base at the time, and so Hollywood gave him a $20 million budget thriller movie. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane sees the cocky comedian play a private detective looking into a case of a missing girl in LA. Clay plays the role exactly the same as his onstage persona. Watching him is like watching the origin story of your edgy uncle who hates everyone and everything.
Come on, you fucking sissy!
Oh man, do I hate the rich. Hey, anus. Fucking Australians.
But look, he can't be all bad, right? He's got a cute pet koala bear. He's like a 12-year-old boy's view of what a man is. Yeah, he drives a cool car and he gets all the babes and he lives on the beach and he's a detective action hero and he has a pet koala bear, and then this guy can't sing, so Ford gets up on stage and says to the guy, "Sit down, punk, you don't know how to sing, I do." And he sings a song and it's really good and everyone joins in and everyone loves him for it.
I got a 65 Cadillac, spare tire on my back. I got women to the right of me, got women to the left.
Nobody gets as much headaches in this as his love interest / secretary, who gets paid by Clay in smooches.
What about last month?
Yeah, I'll tell you something. Come here.
Keep the change, sweetheart. And also gets the honour of being Clay's personal receptacle for food he wants to spit out at fancy parties.
Maria? It's good to see you too, Julie.
Naturally, all this workplace abuse leads to her falling head over heels in love with him by the end of the story. Clay gets himself involved with some local crooks who exact revenge in an unintentionally hilarious way. Unfortunately, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane has a more depressing ending than The Mist, as sadly the protagonist doesn't die a horrific death torn apart by monsters, or blow his brains out. No, sadly he saves the day stopping a corrupt music mogul by setting him on fire, then casually stepping over his burnt carcass to sail off into the sunset.
You know, Ford, sometimes you can be a real dick.
Yes! Quick Change sees Bill Murray as a colourful crook. Sadly, the film starts off with such a good opening of a great bank robbery scene that the rest of the film feels like a letdown in comparison.
So I want to thank you guys. You could have given us help, but you've given us so much more.
Also that day is Ghost, which is the granddaddy of this summer, making the most money, bringing in over $500 million at the box office, so that's $1 billion today. Patrick Swayze is a yuppie who gets robbed and shot whilst walking with his girlfriend Demi Moore.
Give it.
Sam, just give it to him.
Oh no, not another recreation of Batman's parents getting shot. God, how many times are we going to have to see this? It's of course a memorable classic that deserves to bring in the big bucks. Oh, another possessed cat. You know, I know a hitman you can hire to sort that thing out. Hey guys, room for one more ghost? Rounding up the rest of July, there's Arachnophobia, a horror about spiders invading small-time America that deserves much more love than it gets. The Freshman is a comedy about a college kid who gets involved with a mafia boss, with Marlon Brando returning to officially become a parody of himself.
When danger is its own reward.
Move out together, only together.
There are men who will go anywhere.
You guys are crazy. Proud of it, baby.
Navy SEALs is like a 90s version of Team America World Police, with Charlie Sheen stealing his one-liners from Han Solo.
Boring conversation.
And then a couple of underrated points here. Problem Child is a film I loved as a kid, and it's still funny, and this time around its father and son story even tugged on my heartstrings a little bit. Presumed Innocent is a gripping legal drama that was a big hit at the time. Harrison Ford playing a lawyer who is suspected of murdering a colleague. I like the fact that the film isn't scared to make Ford a bit of a sleazebag as well, which does keep you guessing about its conclusion.
How can you think that I could do a thing like that?
August is like a madman with a shotgun shooting random shells in all directions, hoping something will hit the target. Young Guns 2 Blaze of Glory is a quickly churned out sequel to the Brat Pack western hit of a couple of years earlier. Personally, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first one. We follow the further adventures of Billy the Kid as he shoots people then giggles like a schoolgirl. All whilst having to endure seeing young Emilio Estevez in old man makeup doing his best raspy voice narration of his life.
I'm dying, and I want to go before the governor. I was promised a pardon 70 years and 3 months ago.
And now here's Lou Diamond Phillips to tell us about a horrific accident he had on the set of Young Guns 2.
We were shooting this massive getaway scene, and what they want is they want me to ride in one direction in the alley, Emilio to come in the other direction. Now, at this point, I have plastic shackles on my wrists and a very real noose around my neck. The prop master did not have a chance to make a breakaway noose because he found out about this scene at the last minute. Emilio was supposed to shoot this blank. This squib with a bunch of sparks was supposed to go off. We've got stunt guys, bang, 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 blowing off these, shots. Sure enough, Emilio comes in, he pulls off the shot, and the horse starts. Straight up. And this is where I get thrown. And I remember clear as day, as I'm starting to fall off the horse, it hits me. The noose. The noose is wrapped around my neck, and it's wrapped around the saddle horn. I hit the ground. I got yanked. He had this very large, like Calistoga wagon. I remember very vividly the flashes of his horseshoes, because he was still kicking. I threw my arm up at one point and caught a horse hoof here, and that shattered the ulna here in 4 places.
Mo Better Blues is one of those tales that feels like a simple story on its surface but has an impactful ending that really sticks with you. Denzel Washington is a trumpet player trying to perfect his craft, although personally I think he would do a lot better if he didn't practice all the time on that carousel in his home. Or Air America is out on August 10th and has some nice plane stunts in it. And then same day is Flatliners, which is a stylish but repetitive thriller where people play around with death. It didn't work for me, but it is a cult classic and it got remade years later, so clearly somebody remembers it fondly. Joel Schumacher films always look interesting with his use of colours and also so much smoke you'd think he shot the entire movie in the middle of a bonfire.
Don't you remember me, Joe?
Yes, of course.
Are you naughty? You could be.
Look, I've gotta go.
Oh, I'm not picking you up.
In the category of things you didn't realise had a sequel, there's The Two Jakes, which is the follow-up to Chinatown. This is one of the most beautiful looking average noir movies ever, with Nicholson returning to the role as the private detective. It's nice here to also see a bit of a reunion between the Joker and Bob from Tim Burton's Batman that came out just a year before. Nicholson really does try his best. He makes it look beautiful, there's a great cast here, and he even manages to work in a cameo from Jim Carrey's The Mask.
Did it surprise you to know that your husband was seeing another woman?
No. Not necessarily.
On August 17th, there's 4 films of note. Exorcist III is a decent sequel to the horror hit of the 1970s. In this one, demonic possession is dealt with in a neat police procedural. George C. Scott is a detective trying to solve a string of decapitations. Scott is under a lot of stress in this story. He's chasing down a demon killer, his friends are dying, and to make things worse, his wife suffers from a disease where she speaks in someone else's voice.
You've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning. So, she says right out loud, these Jews are crazy. How was your day?
And George C. Scott solves the problem by just shooting the damn thing. Steve Martin and Rick Moranis were in My Blue Heaven, which is basically in the Goodfellas stretched over one comedy. Taking Care of Business is out the same day. Jim Belushi is an escaped prisoner who assumes the identity of a rich businessman. Jim Belushi, to his credit, has lost a lot of weight here, and with his grown ponytail he ends up looking like Steven Seagal's stunt double. Unfortunately, this summer has been infected by David Lynch with Wild at Heart. So of course, like all of his work, it's full of weird people doing weird things. Woman pretending to be a cat. Santa Claus having a mental breakdown. Man watches naked lady dance as he drinks tea and takes a shit. Everyone screaming. In fact, I could play any random clips right now and you have no idea whether I'm telling the truth or not, because it's David Lynch's films don't make any sense. Go on then, here's a bit where the Hindenburg crashes.
Oh, the humanity!
Here's a scene where a man in a monkey mask pours baked beans on his chest. What are you gonna do, check it out? Watch an actual David Lynch film? Can you really be bothered? Meanwhile, cinephile hipsters everywhere applaud this junk, saying, "Oh my god, an old man talks gibberish in a Daffy Duck voice and it's never mentioned again. Isn't that so random and spectacular?" Really, I should review this film with a bunch of random words that makes no sense, just to make you feel that confusion that I feel whenever I watch a David Lynch movie. So here goes. Scorpion poop, Jupiter, picture frame, Australia, enzyme, Magna Carta.
Do not bring misfortune upon yourselves.
Brilliant. I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
August 22nd sees Christian Slater as an edgy radio DJ in Pump Up the Volume.
He rules an empire.
Gentlemen, Ramon Coda, the world's wealthiest drug dealer.
A world of corruption and violence. His power crosses every border.
In democracy, great.
But now, he's crossed the wrong man.
Chuck Norris makes his usual summer appearance in Delta Force 2, The Colombian Connection. I don't know why this action flick is called The Colombian Connection, because at no point does Chuck ever go to Colombia. He instead goes to the fictional country of San Carlos, which is one of those made-up South American countries Hollywood like to use at this time. Chuck's buddy has been killed by a drug lord, so he decides to take out his anger first on his fellow American soldiers. Alright, save some energy for the actual bad guys, Chuck. Delta Force 2 is pretty average. It doesn't have the mad energy that the first Delta Force film had, which at the very least was funny in parts with how over the top it was with its violence. August 24th has so many films out that one day. After Dark My Sweet sees Jason Patric get roped into a kidnapping scheme, Men at Work sees the Sheen kids rip off Weekend at Bernie's, The Witches terrified kids everywhere with its use of prosthetics and seeing kids turned into rodents.
Somewhere in the city, a brilliant scientist is on the verge of an amazing discovery.
But I wanted to save some time for dessert, that being Darkman. Nowadays, superheroes are pretty common fare at cinemas, but back in 1990, there wasn't really the effects to pull off the most exotic heroes that they had. So back then, they just had to make up their own superheroes. Before Sam Raimi made Spider-Man, he made Darkman, where Liam Neeson is a scientist crippled by some local mobsters and seeks revenge. It feels a little like it's trying to be two things at once. At times it's like an old monster movie, but then the score kicks in is very much like Tim Burton's Batman, with Danny Elfman coming in and doing this second Batman rip-off score of that summer with this and also Dick Tracy earlier in the summer. Raimi's films are always like espresso shots for the eyes. He's always turning the volume up on everything, almost to the point where it becomes hilarious. It does make you wish that he had taken over from Burton with the Batman films in the 90s instead of Joel Schumacher and gone and done Batman Forever. However, the effects at the ending of this film have aged the film badly. And speaking of Darkman, he's also not exactly the sexiest or coolest of comic book heroes. I know he's called Darkman, but really he should be called Disfigured Man, Greasy Rag Man, Toilet Paper Man, Burns Unit Man. Coming to cinemas this August, it's Soggy Bandage Man, Badly Burnt Depressed Scientist Man. And finally there's Lemon Sisters, which is a boring chick flick. The end.
Jeff is watching. He might not like it. It's all cool with Jeff.
Inappropriate! That was the summer of 1919. Before we get to the scores and see how it holds up against the other summers, I wanted to introduce a new segment which has come from me noticing that every summer there's usually one face that always seems to pop up in a lot of movies. So in the summer of 85, John Candy seemed to be in every other film. So I'm introducing this new segment, the Man of the Match of the summer, or Most Valuable Player. And for this summer, there's a clear winner. And it is Robert Costanza, who appeared in Dick Tracy, Die Hard 2, and Total Recall this summer. We flew all the way to America to give him his MVP statue, face to face, but sadly I wasn't let into America for some tweets I made several years ago. So the MVP trophy is in the mail, Bobby. And so on to the scores, and it's a big step down from 89. Summer of 1990 got 21 points. So let me introduce the Premier League table for summers, and Summer of 1990 is in 5th place, so Summer of 89 is still the champ. See you next time for Summer of 91.